consumer price index for October 2019 was 109.0 compared to 108.6 in September 2019. This translates into a year-on-year inflation rate for October 2019 as 7.7%. This means that in the month of October 2019, the general price levels was 7.7% compared to October 2018. Month-to-month inflation, that is September 2019 and October 2019, was 0.4%. As recall, to put these figures in context, we share with you the year-on-year inflation between September 2018 and September 2019, which recorded 7.6%, and further share with you the month-on-month inflation between August 2019 and September 2019, which was minus 0.1%. As I indicated in my introductory remark, what we've done for this month is to identify the contributors or the drivers of inflation. So the major driver of inflation is food inflation. And what we could see is that although consistently we've seen a decline in the contribution of food inflation to total inflation, food inflation continued to contribute about 2/5 of the total inflation that we are recording for Ghana. One component that consistently over the last 3 months has increased in its contribution to inflation is transport. And consistently we see 13% drop slightly to 11%, and now transport is contributing 17.1%. We'll go on to disaggregate, as I indicated earlier on, disaggregate by food and non-food inflation. Food inflation was 7.0% and non-food inflation was 8.2%. Ladies and gentlemen, we are emphasizing that although non-food inflation was 8.2%, 1.2% higher than food inflation, the weight for food inflation is much higher. That is why the contribution of food inflation to overall food inflation is the largest that we are recording for the country. In terms of locally produced items and imported items, there is a differential of about 1.4%, with locally imported items recording 8.9%, imported items recording 8.9% and locally produced items recording 6.5%. In terms of commodities that have driven, or divisions that have driven these changes, alcohol, narcotics continue to drive this, but again, emphasis on the fact that the driver depends on the weight that it comes with it, and we have earlier on mentioned that the weight associated with alcohol compared to food is relatively low. That is why we see food and non-alcoholic beverages still with about 7.0%, whereas alcohol and narcotics is recording 13.2%. The next highest division is transport with 12.9%. Year-on-year October 2019 inflation was 7.7%. The monthly change recorded between October 2019 and September 2019 was 0.4%. The differential inflation between food and non-food items was 1.2%, skewed towards non-food items, and differential inflation rate between locally produced items and imported items was 2.4%, again skewed towards imported items. So the highlight take-home message for us is that although nationally we are recording 7.7% as inflation rate for the month of October, we see significant heterogeneities from two perspectives, either from the regional perspective or from the division or subdivision perspective, and this clearly calls for analytical and policy discourse.